The official DOIJ podcast. Today, I am joined by one of our lovely admins, Facebook guy 22128, as well as one of our podcast secretaries, Saturn_101_. Again, please with that underscore, that's always confusing. But anyway, how are you all today?
Nope, stuttering so much.
You discovered a stutter.
Okay, 1 second, just a way to go and see if I'm having a stroke. I'll be back.
Alright. And Stephanie was here with us, but before the podcast even started, she joined us about 5-6 minutes before the podcast started, and she said that she had to go somewhere where I have no idea, probably out and about. It is 5:01 p.m. her time. I believe she is British Standard Time,
yes,
or summertime, or whatever. I think it's British summertime, but I don't get why it's called British summertime, because it's not always summer. No matter where you're at, there are 4 seasons, even if you don't experience all of them.
Oh, it's not. It's summer weather. Essentially, do you have a chance of a day without rain? That's our weather. That's why we call it summer. There's a chance that there's not going to be rain.
So does that happen all year round?
Oh, it's raining right now. I was raining there for that, and actually yesterday was actually sunny for once.
It does not happen all year round.
No, sun is rare. The sun is a rare sight, especially in Northern Ireland.
So basically, when y'all call it British summertime, y'all are basically praying every time you look at the clock. Is that every time you think what time it is? You just please let it not rain. Please let it not rain. Please no rain. No matter.
I know if we see rain, it's an excuse. So we just go to our bosses and just I can't come in. It's raining so heavily. We actually use it as an excuse. I've seen it before.
Oh, that's awesome. But anyway, how are you, baseball guy? I saw you with your.
I'm good.
There you were. You said.
Yeah, I'm good.
Awesome. Took you a minute.
I'm getting stuff in chat and stuff.
Alright, cool. Thank you.
Oh yes, would you like to... What, I can't remember what my duties are as a secretary.
That is alright. Basically, it's to help us out, the host and the co-hosts. So, go get me a coffee, no latte coffee, with the latte and extra milk, but no milk, extra cream, but no cream.
Oh, am I the only one that's getting tea here? Okay.
I forgot this was closed. Okay, I will read the article in a minute. Oh, the brakes on this thing suck. Okay, so, for those of you who do not know, which, I thought my mom was bullshitting when she said this. I guess she saw it on Twitter or Facebook or something. Because my mom and I were watching The Office US on Netflix last night, yesterday evening, and then she said that, Trump had passed a new law where people born out, if U.S. U.S. military members or service members have children born outside the U.S., they are no longer granted automatic citizenship. So that I was like, bullshit. He did not do that. He is an idiot, but he's not that idiot. Apparently, it's a little more complex than that. So, thanks to, I've read some articles on all the articles that one of my news research team has sent in for requests. Thanks for that. The guy found 10 articles. 10 motherfucking articles. 10 articles! Goddamn. I did say as many as you could find. Jeez.
It's more than the Amazon rainforest.
I was like, okay, 10. I was counting. I'm expecting 2 or 3, per person. I'm not expecting this one guy to send in 10 articles. So, if you're listening, man, amazing job. And massive shout out to you. I mean, that's just I was not expecting 10 articles. That was impressive. So, I've read a few of them.
You imagine he secretly works for BBC News, and he has this real life jobs to find articles.
Yeah, I'll watch him secretly work with all these different news organizations. That'll be funny. I got some traffic off.
We just turned to a news weather channel for existence.
Yeah.
We just
Hey, Mr. Man. How are y'all doing today? So basically, I have read a few of them, and I have decided to read 2 of the articles. Yes, that's right, I'm reading them in their entirety, because, well, I want you all to, hear what they say. And of course, we will post the link to them in the chat if someone would mind doing that, either baseball or Saturn. They are in the red articles. Hopefully you can see them. If not, then I'll post them in the thing as I go.
Read articles. Oh my days. Oh, just made it hard for children. Wow, you weren't kidding.
Yeah, like I said, 10 articles. So not all in there. They're so the first one is going to be the quotes from military.com. And by the way, before I say that this is a reliable source and y'all think I'm bullshitting, I actually follow some official U.S. military Twitter sites, and most of the time when they post a news article on their Twitter, it is actually from this website. So that's how you know that this is the legit shit. So the first one is some children of U.S. troops born overseas will no longer get automatic American citizenship. So I don't remember if this one actually clarified it a whole lot, like really clarified it and got down to the basis. Now neither offer 100% clarification, irritatingly enough. But I don't. Why did you put Google ANPS? What? Oh, okay. I'm just starting to see the military. Okay, yeah, that's.
Can I just say something? Don't America own a bunch of islands?
What?
Does America own any islands that are not connected to the actual, America land?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, what if you're born there? Does that count? Because it's not on the original American soil.
Well, I think if, I don't know, you get too goddamn technical. God damn it, let's only read the articles, shit. Before I start really getting into that technicality, god damn.
I'm already a step
You're
ahead.
fired, get out of here. No, I'm kidding. Seriously, you're fired, get out. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, well,
I'm kidding.
that's another time.
Oh, no, but don't
You can't fire me if I quit and
Too bad, too late, I already fired you. You can't quit if I already fired you.
I'm one step ahead. See ya.
You 2 steps behind, but okay, I'll let you have it. Alright, so let's go on to Article 1, and then we'll read to Article 2, and then we'll discuss. So, this is a long one. Okay, so, that was the title of the article. Some children born to U.S. service members and government employees overseas will no longer be automatically considered citizens of the United States, according to Policy Alert issued by U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, also known as USCIS, on Wednesday. Okay, and that's me. I mentioned that those letters will be mentioned a lot, the abbreviation, whatever, is going to be mentioned a lot in this article and the next, so do be aware of that. Previously, children born to U.S. citizen parents were considered to be residing in the United States and therefore would be automatically granted citizenship under Immigration and Nationality Act 320. Now, I was actually going to read, the INA Acts out, but I figured that would add way too much onto this. If you want, I will be more than happy to do that. Just let me know, and I will refine them. With what I believe to be them. I don't know if they're 100%, but they seem legit. So, now children born to U.S. service members and government employees, such as those born in U.S. military hospitals or diplomatic facilities, will not be considered as residing in the U.S., changing the way that they potentially receive citizenship. The change was first reported by San Francisco Chronicle reporter Tal Kopan, which, by the way, just ahead of time and after the fact, just that if I mispronounce the name of somebody or some place, some organization or anything, I do greatly apologize. So, let's get that out of the way there, because that is going to happen. The policy change explains that we will not consider children who live abroad with their parents to be residing in the United States even if their parents are U.S. government employees or U.S. service members stationed outside of the United States, and as a result, these children will no longer be considered to have acquired citizenship automatically, USCIS spokesperson Meredith Parker told Task and Purpose on Wednesday when asked how the policy changes how the government views children of U.S. service members. For them to obtain a certificate of citizenship, their U.S. citizen parent must apply for citizenship on their behalf, she added. The process under INA 322 must be completed before the child's 18th birthday. According to USCIS, previous legislation also explicitly said that spouses of service members who were living outside the U.S. because of their spouses were considered residing in the U.S., but that no similar provision was included for children of U.S. Armed Forces members in the acquisition of citizenship context is significant. That is one of the reasons why USCIS has now decided that those children are not considered to be residing in the U.S. and therefore will not be automatically given citizenship. Instead, they will fall under INA 322, which considers them to be residing outside the U.S. and requires them to apply for naturalization. They will be allowed to complete all naturalization proceedings while living abroad, the document said. I mean, they don't have to go, to the U.S. to then get citizenship. They can do it, wherever they're living at. So if they're living in Africa, because for whatever reason their family is stationed in Africa, then they can, complete that process there and get citizenship there or wherever. So, following publication of the story, U.S. government officials were forced to address widespread concern about how this policy change affects children of U.S. service members. Ken Cesanelli, acting director of USCIS, said in a statement that this policy update does not affect who is born a U.S. citizen, period. Which, by the way, I've read this article like 5 times, both these articles 5 times, and I don't really fully understand that exact statement right there. So, if y'all can interpret what it means from these articles, be my guest and tell me, because that I still don't fully get. I kind of have a theory on that, but again, that'll be explained later, but I don't 100%. So, this only affects children who were born outside the United States and were not U.S. citizens. This does not impact birthright citizenship. This policy update does not deny citizenship to the children of U.S. government and employees or members of the military born abroad. He added, though Task and Purpose did not report that citizenship would be denied, this policy aligns USCIS's process with the Department of State's procedure. That's it. A USCIS official further clarified the original statement for Task and Purpose after publication. In plain English, children who are adopted by U.S. service members abroad and children who are born to service members while overseas who are not yet citizens, such as service members who are green card holders, will not receive automatic citizenship by merely living with their parents who are out of the U.S. on orders. The official clarified that there is no change to the acquisition of citizenship at birth, whether to U.S. citizen military members abroad or to anyone else. For example, if a service member or government employee who is not yet a citizen is deployed overseas and has a child with another non-U.S. citizen while deployed, their child is not a citizen under the existing law, and where that service member to become a citizen while in the service and still living abroad, that child will no longer receive automatic citizenship by living with them. Originally, that child was considered as residing in the United States. If they were a permanent resident and were living with a U.S. citizen parent abroad. That is no longer the case, but it has differed with policy from the State Department, and according to USCIS, it didn't adhere to the statutory text. The State Department doesn't see it that way, the official said. If that same child or the parent for that child applies for a passport for the child, the State Department will reject it and say, no, you are not residing in the U.S. and you are not a U.S. citizen. You said you are residing in the U.S., even though you're not in the U.S. So what we did is change that policy to stick to what the statute says. and align with the State Department, which is residing inside the United States. However, the child in this scenario would become a citizen if they were to receive a green card and move back to the U.S., residing in the United States, and live there with their U.S. citizen parent. This child could also become a citizen while still abroad if their parent becomes a U.S. citizen and proceeds to apply for the child's citizenship on their behalf. And we were just joined by our lovely co-host, Stephanie Plays Vlogs. How are you, Stephanie?
You. Give me 5 minutes.
That's fine. I'll need 20 to read these articles. I mean, they take a long time. Yeah, they're long articles. U.S. citizen service members who adopt a child while overseas can apply for citizenship for the child and go through the entirety of the process while abroad. The official added that this policy change is expected to impact very few people a year. Applications received before the date that the new policy takes effect, October 29th, will be treated under the old policy. While children of service members will be allowed to complete the citizenship process outside of the U.S., Parker added, children of government employees must enter the U.S. lawfully with an immigrant or non-immigrant visa and be in lawful status when they take the oath of allegiance. So, basically, you're working for the government, but you're not in the military. Like, you're not a branch of the military. That's what government employee is. If you're like just a regular old government contractor, or I guess FBI or something, or CIA or whatever. Which I don't think if you're CIA and you have a baby, I don't think that's legally known. So
what if it was a good old Trump? His wife has a kid. Does that count? Does he count?
Well, companies can do whatever you want, but we'll see. So the next article, also provided by military.com, again, very reliable news site, which reports on military stuff, obviously. The next article is titled, Here's Who's Affected by New Citizen Policy for Children of Troops Serving Overseas. A policy clarification from the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services published Wednesday does not revoke automatic citizenship for children of U.S. citizens born abroad, including troops and federal workers, Homeland Security Department's officials said Wednesday. So from my understanding, that means that if you are a child that is already born, and you're born abroad, you already have your citizenship, they're not revoking that. So, it's still good.
Howdy, everybody.
Yes, hey Stephanie, how are you?
You sound like you're... What the...
Sound like I'm what?
You sound like you're in a hurricane. Because I can hear a lot of wind.
I'm actually outside and it's windy as fuck.
It's raining outside for me, so...
It was raining earlier.
Oh, no,
I will admit that.
Yeah.
I'm going to get food. That's what I'm doing.
How come every podcast we do, you gotta go get food? Every time, you're always on your way to get food.
Hey, it's better than her screaming at video games.
Right.
Or I'm screaming at COD.
Yes, exactly. Cursing like
It's kind of
Stephanie.
convenient. It's the classic called me.
Oh yeah.
There's a cat outside of my garden. I want to grab a gun and shoot it, but I don't have a gun.
Bro!
That's no way to talk about your mom. That is just rude. You should not be talking about your mom like
this
that.
This food smells fucking gorgeous.
I want to grab a gun and shoot the cat outside.
Oh, the cat. I thought you said the cow. I was like, alright.
Oh, no, you eat them. You don't kill them, you eat them.
Alright, let's go on to the article, but it will make adoptions and paperwork more complicated for some families of U.S. service members and as well as citizens who haven't been in the U.S. for a while. USCIS issued a policy alert Wednesday that changes and spells out what it considers residency and provisions related to citizenship. The policy states that effective October 29, 2019, children residing abroad with their U.S. citizen parents who are U.S. government employees or members of the U.S. Armed Forces stationed abroad are not considered to be residing in the United States for acquisition of citizenship. Similarly, leave taken in the United States while stationed abroad is not considered residing in the United States, even if the person is staying in a property he or she owns. Bullshit. The text of and early reporting on the new regulations ignited a ferocious backlash on the internet by those who interpreted them as a revocation of birthright citizenship for those born to U.S. government employee or troops serving abroad. The policy goes on to say that U.S. citizen parents who are residing outside the United States with children who are not U.S. citizens should apply for U.S. citizenship on behalf of their children under the policy, must complete the process before the child's 18th birthday. Here's who the policy affects. It affects children who live with their U.S. parents abroad but who did not acquire citizenship at birth, including infants and children adopted overseas. That also affects children born of non-U.S. citizens or adopted by U.S. citizens. It affects those whose parents became U.S. citizens after the child's birth. And it affects U.S. citizens who do not meet the residence or physical presence rules needed to transmit birthright citizenship, such as a person born overseas with birthright citizenship who never lived in the United States. Children who did not acquire citizenship at birth are not considered to be residing in the U.S. just because their parents are citizens. The policy states, under the new policy, these parents will have to apply for U.S. citizenship for their child. According to the policy, a U.S. citizen born in the United States generally meets the residence requirement as long as he or she can present evidence to demonstrate that his or her mother was not merely transiting through or visiting the United States at the time of his or her birth. By law, most babies born to U.S. citizens overseas become U.S. citizens at birth. This new policy does not affect anyone who was born a U.S. citizen, period. USCIS Acting Director Ken Cicinelli said in a statement on military.com, which I believe I now figure out what that means. This does not impact birthright citizenship. This policy update does not deny citizenship to the children of U.S. government employees or members of the military born abroad, Cicinelli said. The policy does not affect children born of two U.S. citizen parents who have maintained a residence in the U.S. before the child's birth, nor does it affect those who have received a consular report of birth abroad or certificate of citizenship acquired at birth. Those born to a foreign national and a U.S. citizen parent who has physically been in the U.S. or one of its territorial possessions for at least 5 years, or unmarried parents of the U.S. citizen parents meet certain requirements. There is your answer, Saturn. USCIS did not provide any reasons for the policy update other than to define residence as it relates to citizenship for children of certain U.S. government employees and members of the U.S. Armed Forces who are employed or stationed outside the United States to conform with the definition of a residence at the Immigration and Nationality Act. This policy aligns USCIS process with the Department of State's procedure. That's it, Cicinelli said. It remains unclear how many children will be affected by the new rules, which go into effect October 29, 2019, but it will have an impact on the families of U.S. troops who are not U.S. citizens and are not married to a U.S. citizen, as well as any children adopted by a service member stationed overseas. From 1999 to 2010, roughly 80,000 non-citizens were members of the armed services. About 5,000 legal permanent residents join the armed services each year. And there you go. There are the two articles. I feel like done a record timing, just saying. So, basically from my quick grasp understanding of that, I don't know if you all heard this a different way or not, but from my understanding of that, if you are, so there's two parents, let's say the dad is overseas. This is the only way it's going to work, sorry. The dad is overseas, the mom is in the United States, residing there, and she gives birth to the child. That child still has birthright, they're still a birthright citizen, so they're still automatically a citizen. If both parents are overseas and one or both are U.S. service members or members of the government, and they have, lived in the U.S., resided in the U.S. for a certain amount of time, not too long ago, depending on whatever the law is. I forget. I read it sometime yesterday, but I forget. Then, if I'm correct, then if you're born abroad, then in that scenario, then you would be considered a citizen. I think. Could be wrong on that one. But if your parents, whatever, you are citizens of the U.S. but only by green card, even if they're a military member, which I'm actually going to look up to see why you can become a member with a green card, how that's even possible, then, since they have a green card and they're not actually full-on citizens before the child's birth, that doesn't count. And which I think this rule is complete bullshit, but even if you are even if you're a full-on official citizen of the United States, and you're in the service, and you haven't actually been living in the U.S. because you've been abroad for however many years, serving your country, but you do have a house in the U.S. that you could go on leave to, which basically leave is like vacation. Take a break from whatever leave time they give you between your service tours, whatever reason. Even if you have a house that you go to on leave in the U.S. that you own, that doesn't count as you residing in the U.S. Which, again, I think is complete bullshit, because you can't be residing in the U.S. if you are serving your country. So I get the whole green card thing. If you're green card, whatever. And some of this makes sense, but some of this makes absolutely no sense. Or it's just kind of common sense, where it's like, okay, you're serving your country. You can't really be living in the country because, if you're serving for 10, 20, 30 years, all that abroad, maybe you only get a month or two every year at home, or whatever time they give you. I think you should still be residing in the U.S., if you have a home there. I mean, that's just my honest opinion. What do you all think? No opinion?
See, I've got the British politics and systems to work with and to worry about, so I don't catch up much with the American problems.
Oh, we just caught you up, brother. Come on.
Well, I no opinion.
Yeah. Well.
No opinion. I don't know.
All right.
I have an opinion. It just doesn't make sense to me.
That's why I'm saying no opinion, because I don't get it.
It doesn't make sense why they would be doing this. It just, it doesn't make sense, because they're going off, and then if something happens in between while they're there, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I'd be there. It's like, oh my gosh. What is interesting, how Cestinelli is the acting director. He's not the director, he is the acting director, which means they haven't found an actual official director. He's just temporary, until they can find the full-fledged. So either that's, because they think that he's good for the job and he's on a temporary term, which that doesn't really happen, or, they just, like I said a few seconds ago, they haven't found a full-fledged, director of USCIS. Can't believe I actually finally memorized that. And that's why he's the acting director. I don't know, but very interesting that he's not the full-fledged director of USCIS. Sorry. So
it's kind of like when video game needs voiceovers of real life people in movies, but they get just people that kind of sound like it, but completely or clearly not the same person, just because they can't afford money to get the actual person to do the voiceover.
I don't get how that's related. I'm sorry that it's gonna
But if it turns out to where they don't find someone, they might just make the temporary person the actual. If they can't find anyone, then there's a temporary person for long term until they can at least, they think, is suitable coming in or coming out of it.
Bless you, to whoever that was in the background. Let's see.
If you hear me clicking buttons quite a bit, that's because I'm playing drawing stuff. Like builds. Oh, my mic's, hold on. There we go, okay. Hi.
Alright, so I'm going to do some more research on this a little bit later. We normally have an extra 10 minutes. We normally have about 10 more minutes, but I've got stuff to do today. And again, this podcast wasn't meant to be done today. I was going to do one because it is not a part of the podcast schedule. I thought I botched that up the first time, botched it the second, nice. So, we will be resuming the normal podcast schedule starting tomorrow, which I believe is tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to go and check out, which I'm going to do the links in order as I always do. So if you want to go ahead and check out our amazing co-host, amazing YouTube channel, Stephanie Plays Vlogs, it should be the first link in the description. So that'll be, the very first link in the description right there. Go ahead and subscribe to her. Turn on the notification bell so you know when she goes live. She does go live a lot. I think it's like about 4 or 5 times a day, at least from my notifications that I get anyway. So yeah. And then if you want to join the official DOIJ podcast server, which is our server right there, where you'll be notified an hour before we go live, and any voting that goes on, and any pretty much anything the background stuff that you are on. If you want to be know any of that, you just want to be in it, then go ahead and that'll be the second link in the description right there. Thanks to Gumzilla, he has put that in already. Fantastic. So do go ahead and join that. It is open to everyone. You all should be able to invite anybody. When you do get in there, please do read the rules. And also check out the roles and what they do. I believe it's a chat. I can't remember. I haven't looked at Discord in a long time. I've been busy the past 2 days. So I do apologize, but I believe roles and their responsibilities chat. If you do go ahead and find that, check that out. That hopefully should give you a better idea on what the roles, what the responsibilities are that come with each role. Some of the roles are open. With like member, helper, news research team, and one that I can't remember. An Arsenal podcast secretary that will be promoted. But yeah, those are open to which you can help if you want. And then last but certainly not least, there is, if you want to join the best, and when I say the best, I'm not giving an unbiased opinion. I'm not saying it because I am in it. I'm saying it because I am in it, and it is the truth. If you want to join the absolute best roleplay community on PS4, I don't know about Xbox One or PC. PC is still a work in progress. It is up and running, but it is a work in progress. But we have GTA 5 roleplay for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. We also have Red Dead Redemption Online roleplay for PS4 and Xbox One. To do that, you will have to join the third link. The third link that'll send you to the interview server. The process is you get interviewed. If you pass the interview, then you'll go ahead and you'll then be moved to the training server. The training server, if you pass your training, then you'll be moved on to the main server of what.
There's a Red Dead training server.
What?
There's a Red Dead interview and training server. I thought it was the same. I think it was just one big interview server for the whole thing.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an interview server for all of it. So yeah. I believe for PS4, I can't talk about Xbox or PC because I'm not on those. Well, if I want PC, then I don't have a game PC. Complicated. But anyway, but I can't speak for these guys, but I don't know exactly if this is the case for theirs or what the exact case is. But if you are joining LEO or PS4 GTA Online Roleplay, do try to join LSPD as they need more officers there. So do go ahead and try to join that. Also, Fire EMS is available. Do go ahead and join that as well. That is open. That is actually the head of the Fire EMS department on PS4 anyway, is our lovely co-host Stephanie Plays Vlogs. And even though she may not have a whole lot of time for the podcast, she does have a lot of time for Fire EMS. And she has done quite a few amazing things with it since she has taken over barely over a week ago. So, massive shout out to her for that. I feel there's one thing I'm forgetting. I cannot remember.
Join LSPD if you join.
I already said that.
I know, but I'm being serious. I've only ever seen maximum of 3 LSPD units on at the exact same time, and that's including me on a session. We're barely LSPD on.
Yeah, so do go ahead and join that. It is absolutely amazing. I'm going to tell you now, it may be a long time before you can get your interview, before you get set for your interview, and then the training might take a really long time before you do training. I believe I'll have to go ahead and look. I should know for the next podcast, but I believe that on PS4 the Civ trainings are closed. I don't want to put more detail into that because I don't know if some detail we're allowed to actually give out yet about that. But if changes haven't happened already, changes are coming to Civ trainings. So just be aware of that. I really want to give you all more details, but I cannot, not yet. And well, I could. I don't know. I haven't looked. Too lazy. But yeah, so it might take a long time, but believe me, it is totally 110, 50 billion% worth it. So do definitely join. It's definitely worth it to go LEO too. But if you really want to go Civ, wait it out. And if you don't get into a training, whatever, just wait till the next one. Wait till the next one. It took me, I think, 3-4 months before I was able to get all that done. Some people it takes a lot longer. I've heard it took someone half a year, but it's worth it. And then, of course, if you want to know whenever we go live, as soon as we go live, unless YouTube decides to glitch out, and yes, I said that because I must, before you all get really mad at me and goes, "Heck, why the hell didn't it tell me? I'm suing you." You have been warned. You have been formally warned that YouTube is a little glitchy. YouTube don't take my channel down, or I definitely will sue you. So that ain't my fault I can't get no support. So, if you want to know exactly every time we go live, pretty much as soon as we go live, hit that subscribe button below, turn on the notification bell, and thank you so much for listening in, and we will catch you next time. Have a good one.